Now for the reason I'm wearing this stupid outfit. Xbox is to my Activision Blizzard King. I can't believe this.
What a way to wake up on a Tuesday.
Dude, you were like, wake up, wake up. And I love that Sam's response was, I've been awake for hours. And you were like, you just blasted that, and then we ignited. Just,
Yeah. Well, I had to read it twice. So I like woke up. I'm like, doing my thing on my phone in the morning. And I go on Twitter, and it's like Activision buys, or Microsoft buys Activision for $70 billion. And I'm like, no, there's no way.
This sounds like a made up number. It's just,
right,
it sounds fake.
Phil Spencer tweets, today is a historic day. And then at that point is when I get on Slack and I'm like, everybody wake the fuck up.
All right, so there's several things that we've popped up in the past couple of days about this. So I want to start with the obvious. Them buying Activision and Blizzard gives them a massive library. Massive. Call of Duty, all the Blizzard properties. I had a picture that literally had all of the different games that
Candy
they now
Crush.
have. Candy
Crush, Call of Duty,
the one
World of
King
Warcraft,
property
Diablo,
we care about.
Overwatch. Like, it just cements the fact that Game Pass is literally the best deal in gaming.
Then you got to think about this too. It's like that means Sony's fucked, right? Like,
so not 100% because this came out right before the show started. Was that Phil Spencer met with Sony leadership today to confirm that all of their contracts are still in place. So Call of Duty will still come to PlayStation.
Okay, well, that's good to know.
A bunch of those properties will still come to PlayStation. Is that always going to be the case? Absolutely not. I'm sure that's not always going to be the case. Just like it is for Bethesda. But yeah, man, fuck. This is the largest video game acquisition. It's bigger than the top 5 put together.
It's
like
wild.
The top 5 video game acquisitions combined. It's bigger than that.
I can't think of it like a bigger acquisition. And
Sony or Disney buying Marvel.
Yeah, that or like Fox,
Star Wars, or Fox. Yeah, I mean those are huge.
But this is like gaming. Like it's massive.
Yeah, gaming. This is essentially Microsoft is Disney buying Marvel.
And we've already kind of seen this and talked about it on previous episodes too, with like Sony buying up those smaller gaming properties, right? Like so.
Yeah.
That's not out of the realm of possibilities here, but the fact that they're buying Activision Blizzard King is bonkers. And this is.
But who's next? Like who's next? Like looking at the
Ubisoft,
market cap value.
Riot Games,
Ubisoft, EA,
Epic.
Oh
shit!
Like EA, like I'm sure EA is at some point gonna want to be acquired because they're putting out just dog shit these days.
But I mean, to the point that we've made all together as a group is that Xbox hasn't ruined anything they've acquired, right? They've in ways made them better, if not maintained the same quality, right? It's
right. These studio acquisitions have not come with controversy, and like it's not like they bought those properties and did shitty things with them. Now, granted, we haven't seen a lot of, what has happened with these studio acquisitions, but like Ninja Theory is one that they purchased, and Senua's the second Senua game is coming out, and that's incredible. Starfield for Bethesda is coming out, and that looks to be, even better. Deathloop was from the same publisher, but they did it for PlayStation because that was like their last exclusive deal. But PlayStation is the same way. Like it seems to me that these large acquisitions have really still given creative freedom, but with a bigger purse to these studios. I mean, Sucker Punch is owned by Sony now.
Yeah.
And Sucker Punch put out Ghost of Tsushima, and Sucker Punch is putting out Insomniac is another studio that's owned by them and putting out Wolverine and Spider-Man 2, and they put out Spider-Man and Miles Morales, and they're all incredible. I know that there's this argument about monopolization and antitrust and everything, and this is a big deal that would have the the federal government taking a hard look at that.
Yeah.
Because of Activision Blizzard's market value. But I hope it goes through. I think it's going to do a lot more good than harm, especially with the fact that Activision has gone through this harrowing. The people at Activision have gone through a harrowing time over the last decade. It seems where their culture and sexual harassment and full-on sexual abuse and rape and suicide and terrible leadership,
like,
and Phil Spencer's going to clean house. Like, I fully believe that Phil Spencer is going to clean house.
I hope he has a State of the Union live stream where he announces the firing of Bobby Kotick. I hope there's like a tar and feathering that takes place in a public square of some kind, or like at least a large piñata of him in a white t-shirt and a blue sweater vest just getting beat to shit. Like, I want part of his like penance to just be kicked in the balls by like random 7 or 8 year olds over and over and over again for all eternity. And then of course we get like other random blow off news that Bobby Kotick even allegedly wanted to buy game sites like Kotaku and PC Gamer to try to like spin the narrative a little bit or like quiet them down. Like this guy's the worst.
Dude's the worst.
And let me
and it goes to show, like, as soon as this acquisition happened,
this dude is the worst. This the one now on stream. So if you're watching live, thank you for watching live. I wore this as a joke. I personify none of the things this guy does. Look at this beard. Look at my hair. We are different. We are way different.
It just goes to show, like, when Microsoft acquired Bethesda, it wasn't like, all right, so like, are you firing the CEO?
Yeah.
Like, the first thing anybody asked as soon as this deal came about was,
is he
all right, what's going on with Bobby Kotick? And then, like, the first thing that came up was like, oh, he's staying. And then, like, the second thing came up that was like, no, that's not confirmed. And then the third thing that came up is like, nah, he's going.
And that's only through the transition period, right? We know of, right?
Yeah, it's just through it sounds like it's just through the transition. The guy's going to get a massive payday, and he's not going to have his day in court. But at the end of the day, if he leaves and the culture gets better and that, people are put in place to make an active difference to the people that are working on those games, because there's thousands of people that work for Activision Blizzard, then I would say, that they won at that point.
Sure.
But we'll see. We don't know what's going to happen in the next year.
And, I mean, the downside is, like, to your point, it's a year. Right? Like, at least a year. And that's going through all the different pieces of information for the company itself. During that time, they're mutually exclusive. That means Bobby Kotick for the next year can do whatever the fuck he wants.
Right.
Like, he could nuke this deal just by being that much more worse. And we'd lose out on potentially lose out on these properties, right? Like, Xbox won't want to buy a dumpster fire. Especially if it's
I mean, this comes off the heels that they were talking about shutting down Activision Blizzard at one point.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we were talking about that a few months ago, where that was like in the rumor bill that it was getting shut down. So, I mean, here's the thing. I didn't see a single rumor about this acquisition. This just came out of fucking nowhere. And can you imagine Phil Spencer having to watch, knowing that this deal was in the works, because this deal had to have been in the works for at least a year.
Yeah.
Knowing that this deal is in the works, watching the dumpster fire that was the summer all the way through the winter.
You have to kind of guess, or maybe wonder, like, is he going to say something before the holidays to try to save it? Or was it smart of him to wait to get through the holidays, have all those fires explode, let the net worth of Activision Blizzard and King go lower, so then Xbox can still acquire them later on, but even potentially at a lower price point. Like,
right,
that's big. That's some chess moves. He's definitely not playing checkers. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so
wild.
Mike asked an interesting question. Mike asked, what happens to a board of directors when a company's bought out? And in most cases, the board of directors do not stay.
No. Well, and that's right, and that's if some of those board of directors don't actually own parts of the company, if they're not selling out their pieces, right? Like if they own a particular percentage, they can be a board member. and have voting rights and things like that. But if Microsoft is smart, they'd be buying all of them out, and
Right.
that's part
And
of the
I'm
big
sure
price
that's
tag.
part of what this deal is. And I'm
Right.
sure that they're not going to hold their seats. Um, my guess is because, I mean, Phil Spencer came out when all of this shit went down about, I mean, and like, listen to the language that Phil Spencer, like, said. Like, we are reevaluating our relationship with Activision Blizzard. That was what he said, knowing that they were planning on buying them.
That's what he meant. We're reevaluating whether we're going to continue to just pay them for licensing fees, or we're just going to buy them. Like,
So yeah, so like my whole, I'm hopeful, and I know Mike is hopeful too because Mike and I talked about it. His sub at Warcraft ran out, was running out in like 7 days. He said when this acquisition was uh was announced, and he was like, "All right, well I'll resub, for now and see what happens." So we'll see.
have you
Diablo's
just
coming to Game Pass would be fucking sweet.
have you said they're the ones that are backing Kotick? Well, then again, I think to the point is like if Microsoft is smart, they're gonna because the board
Yeah,
can
they're
put
gonna
whatever
clean that
CEO
up.
they,
They're not
they
gonna
want.
they're not
Right?
gonna leave any of those board of directors in.
Yeah, they gotta buy them out. Whatever shares, I don't. Whoever those early investors are, or people that have invested over the years that have those spots. It's not like a board of advisors where it's like kind of a courtesy position, like Al Gore being an advisor to Apple kind of level. Like
Right.
even though he did invent the internet, like it's. I think that's one of the biggest things is if they buy out all the board members and everybody that's involved there, then it's like, oh, this is our shop, and now we get to make the world a better place. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, it's again in my brain. I don't know the relationship between Microsoft and Xbox. I know Microsoft owns Xbox, so it's like a subsidiary of a massive company buying a massive company.
Yeah.
The word subsidiary always makes me think smaller. In this case, it doesn't mean that much smaller. Evidently, it's like
No, not really.
giant. It's just
This would
another
be like
division.
PlayStation buying somebody,
Right.
not Sony.
Not
but,
Sony.
Yeah.
So
But let me tell you what, like, the best thing that Xbox has done was put Phil Spencer in the position that he's been in. Because before it was Don Maddock, and Don Maddock was terrible.
yeah,
Like, he was awful. He was behind the whole, like, Xbox One bullshit when that came out. And that it was like, in that, like, just was terrible bad faith for most of the gaming community. And that's where kind of PlayStation was able to pull a grasp of a lead out when Jack Tretton, and it seems like they flopped at this point.
that
Like
was when there was
PlayStation's-
like, oh, there's no backwards compatibility, right? Was that
no
like,
backwards compatibility. Like,
remember
you can't,
that.
like, there's no used game market, none of that shit, and they
Yeah.
walked all of that back. You have to be
best.
online 100% of the time in order to play the console, like
Stupid.
all of that.
Stupid.
So, I'm interested to see what more comes from this, but this is insane.
Well, it's been a while since we've had a final round that was video game centric. That didn't feel like, well, granted, Halo was kind of recent, but at
Yeah.
that point, I hadn't played it. I still haven't.
Yeah.
You had only recently acquired your Xbox by people and means that we know in the chat right now. So like now, I'm glad we at least got a subject that both of us can actively contribute to. And what have we been
Yeah.
talking about? And again, I feel like we're probably going to have another year of this where Activision
yeah.
Blizzard and keeps popping up in our show. But
Because
that's
more shit's going to come out about
Yeah.
this deal
It's-
in the future.
I
like,
just-
and it's not all going to be good.
I love it,
it,
man.
like-
I love it.
Yeah.
I just want to start seeing like board members get ejected.
Dropped.
Just-
Yeah.
To start cleaning. I want to see Phil Spencer show up. This is my last fantasy, and we'll end it. But I want to see Phil Spencer show up at the Activision Blizzard board meeting with a paintball gun, bright blue and
Like
orange,
Ari
like
Gold.
Ari Gold. Pop, 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 pop. Looking for Adam
I'm
Davies.
back and you're fired.
Just crushing people. That would be.
Someone should do that, honestly, with that scene, and just take like screenshots of
Put their
Phil
faces.
Spencer's head, and then like just put like board members on each. Like, yeah, someone should absolutely do that shit.
Just Bobby Kotick as Adam Davies crouching behind his desk. Or should he be Lloyd in that scenario? Because Lloyd is
No,
like
he
running
should
and hiding.
absolutely be Adam Davies. And he just shoots him. Yeah, so good.
Come on, Ari. Just gets peppered. That shit's the best. Awesome. Well, hey, episode 29, nice and sweet. I mean,
Yeah, man. Nice 54 minutes.
under an hour, bro. Under an hour. I know the first 3 minutes people didn't hear me, but that's all right. You know what? Whatever.
Yeah, it's all good.
That's why our show's so cute and quaint. You know, it's not perfect.
Yeah.
It's not glossy.
Absolutely.
I'll get it right eventually. Maybe by episode 100. But that's for it for me. Once again, I'm Ernie Hawkins.
I'm Dom Irvin.
And we are Joystick Maverick, and we'll see you next time. Thanks again to our sponsor, Tough Raps. Thanks, Mahaffey, for the intro and outro songs, and we'll see you next time. Peace.